You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny here with Barry, and yes, it is still football season around here, even though the Thunder are underway and a lot of people talking basketball. And Barry, not a great couple weeks for drama in the Big 12, but when you look at Oklahoma State going out to Texas Tech, Lubbock, it's Halloween, for crying out loud. A tough place to play on, a crowd I'm sure is going to be going crazy. But is the upset alert on at all with the Cowboys this weekend?
Well, I mean, I think it is on for the reasons you mentioned. Lubbock's a tough place to play. And this Cowboy team, let's be honest, while being great at perseverance, while being great at getting the job done, has not been dominant.
Yeah.
Now, I like everything about this OSU defense. I saw Texas Tech play live last Saturday. I was not impressed. Patrick Mahomes does not strike me. I'd heard great things about his quarterbacking. I did not think he played a good game against Oklahoma, and I wonder if he'll be able to be productive against OSU. But that Oklahoma State offense has been inconsistent, hasn't been able to run the ball. Everybody's been able to run on Tech. So the Cowboys should be able to run, but if they get down to Lubbock and can't run the ball, I think it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, and I saw, obviously against Kansas last week, Oklahoma State got some things going in the running game, as everybody does, because while Kansas is not any good run defense, Texas Tech, same sort of thing. But I think Chris Carson, I think he might have been more injured than we even thought at the time. He gets hurt at Texas and he comes back, and it's not been great. I think he might have been nursing that ankle. I think it was an ankle injury for him. I think it might have been maybe even worse than we thought. I saw some things out of him last week that looked like good steps, but again, it's all about offensive line, Barry. I mean, that's where it rises and falls with that Oklahoma State run game, and if they can continue to open some things up with the pass, then maybe they can get the run game going. But they're gonna have to go with their strength. I don't think it's gonna matter against Tech, but obviously you want to get some things headed in the right direction as they head into November, because things are about to get a lot tougher. And we won't even talk about upset alert when it comes to Oklahoma, obviously. Going to Kansas, I don't think we have to worry about that. But let's talk about that run game, because they've started to get it going. Are you sold on the fact that the Oklahoma run game is in good shape?
Yes, I think it's going to be okay. And a couple of reasons going on. One is I think they've done some offensive line improvements. Drew Samia, true freshman, has moved in at right tackle, seems to be playing much better. And the the Sooners have put together a line I think they believe in now. I think there was a lot of shuffling earlier, and so I think they like that. Two, I think Bob Stoops probably had a pretty serious discussion with Lincoln Riley and said, we're going to get the ball to Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon. 16 carries for them combined against Texas, 39 combined against Texas Tech. So I think Bob Stoops says if the run game doesn't work early, we're going to stay with the run game. We are going to run the ball. And the last couple of weeks, it's been much better. It'll be great against Kansas.
Yeah.
But I think they'll stick with it even when it comes down the pike with TCU and Baylor and Oklahoma State.
Well, I guess I'm still in the skeptical crowd when it comes to thinking this run game is fixed, because, as we talked, it's come against Kansas State and Texas Tech. A good chunk of what we've seen of the production has come against Tech. And that K-State game, I went back and looked. Oklahoma built that big lead against the Wildcats with the passing game. The drives that they scored on were largely passing-dominated drives, the first four at least, to get up 28 to nothing, and that really sort of put the Wildcats down for the day. They were just done at that point. And then Oklahoma got the run game going, and so 200-plus yards that day. I think a lot of that could be contributed to how well they passed the ball early. Now, I do think the increase in tempo, I think that has helped the run game. But I'm just not convinced yet that, they're building up all these yards, building up all this confidence. The opponents are going to get a lot tougher, and they're going to have to run the ball. And it was only 3 short weeks ago they were getting decimated by Texas. So I think they're just going to have to prove it to me when the games really get big, because they're not really going to have the chance until then. I mean, they got Kansas this week, and that's not going to show anything, because the Jayhawks, Samaje Perine runs for 427 last year. They're going to run for a bunch of yards this year. There's no doubt about it.